you have been watching my videos frequently, I'm sure you already know by now that Ireland could be your best relocation option right now. But the big question is your profession on the list of jobs that Ireland is looking for right now? Stay with me on this video because I'm going to be breaking down Ireland's critical skills occupation list, and I'm going to be sharing with you the salaries that you need. I am also going to be sharing with you some opportunities that most people don't know about. And finally, if you wait till the end, I will tell you how to check if your exact job title qualifies, okay, and how you can qualify. Hello everyone, and thank you for clicking on this video. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. I do appreciate the loyalty. And if you're a first timer, thank you for stopping by. My name is Zuri, and on this channel we talk about travel tips, immigration tips, as well as foreign opportunities. So if this is something that you think you would be interested in, why not smash the subscribe button, because I would totally love to see you again. And if you're feeling generous, you can share this video with one or two people that you think would be interested in the kind of content that we share. Now let's go over to the video for today. I have my laptop here as usual, and we're just going to talk about the critical skills list. Now people will be asking, what is this famous critical skills list that we have been speaking about? Now, the critical skills occupation list is Ireland's way of saying basically, these are the jobs we currently need people for, and we're ready to bring you in to do these jobs if you have these skills. Okay, so today we're just going to be talking about the list. If your job is on this list, you can get the critical skills employment permit, and that's an advantage to you because they desperately need people for these jobs. It is one of the fastest ways to move, to work, to bring your family, and eventually get a stamp 4, which is your permanent residency. So stick with me because this video is exciting. So let's go ahead to talk about the salary threshold. I mentioned to you that I will tell you the salary that you need. Now, I'm also going to show you, sharing my screen, how to find the salary threshold. But I'm just going to tell you now that if your job is on this critical skills list, you need a minimum of 38,000 euros per year. However, if your job is not on the list, you need at least 64,000 euros per year. Okay, so let's hope that your profession is actually on the list. Okay, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you. Let's hope that it's actually on the list. Meeting this salary requirement is very important, okay, because if an employer offers you less, then you will not meet the permit requirements. You won't qualify for this permit. Okay, so if you can, try as much as you can to negotiate. All right, let's go ahead to talk about the jobs that are currently on the list for 2025. Now, it's not really that much, but then I've grouped them into about 3 or 4. All right, and the first group here is ICT and tech jobs. Okay, very important. They need software engineers and developers, they need data analysts, data scientists, cybersecurity experts, network engineers. So if your job falls within any of these skills that I just mentioned, then you are in luck because you can totally apply for the critical skills permit. Let's go over to the next group. The next group is healthcare jobs. I know some people were expecting the healthcare jobs to be number one. I'm not calling them in any particular order, okay? But we have healthcare jobs here, and we have nurses, both general and specialized nurses, radiographers, medical scientists, and paramedics, to name a few. So if you're in the health sector, you might want to apply, and apply as soon as possible. I have a video where I broke down how to apply. I actually shared my screen. I went to the job boards and showed you how to apply and how to search for these jobs. So please check the description and watch that video because it is fully packed. Okay, let's go over to the next group I have here, and I wrote down engineering and technical jobs. Okay, that has to do with civil engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, production and manufacturing engineers. So if your profession or your skill falls under any of these, please go and apply. Okay, watch that my video where I show you how to apply and ensure that you go apply. The last group I wrote here is business and finance. Under certain actuarial roles, you can find your skill there, you can find your profession there. Also, under some specialist management consultant roles, you can actually find a place there for yourself. So if you see your profession under any of these groups that I just called, you're in luck because you actually qualify and Ireland wants you right now, right now, now, now. All right, so now let's go over to the next section. I said how to check your job title. Now, I'm not going to dwell on this so much because I already have a video where I broke it down in detail how to check your job title. Now, here's a tip that many people miss. I don't want you to just assume that your job is not on the list just because maybe the title sounds different or because I didn't call it, right? Sometimes the job title that they use, how they call it in Ireland, is different from how we call it in Nigeria. Now, what I want you to do is go to the official critical occupation shortage list on the government website. You search for your keywords, search for those keywords related to your role, and if it's not there, you can check similar roles. Sometimes your job falls under a broader category. Now, let's quickly talk about the critical skills employment permit. Okay, I'm going to show you what it's really about on their site so that you know where to begin, you know how to start. Okay, let's go. Let me share my screen with you and we go to see it. Now, this is the website. Now, this is the Irish Immigration Service website. Welcome to the Irish Immigration Service. What is your situation? I would like to come to Ireland. I am in Ireland. I'm in Ireland, but my circumstances have changed. So I would like to come to Ireland. I would like to come to Ireland to visit, work, study, live, or join family. So let's say you have a family member or you have relocated to Ireland. This is where you come to apply for your family. So let's go to work. Coming to work in Ireland, explore your options. Now let's see here. If you want to work in Ireland and are not an EEA, Swiss, or UK national, you will need to have a valid employment permit or a typical permission first. Depending on your nationality, you may also be required to apply for a visa. You then have to apply for the relevant permission. If you are planning to stay longer than 90 days, you will also have to register. I'm sure we all know that, but really, I just want us to go directly um, to the critical skills employment permits. Okay, okay, here. The Critical Skills Employment Permit replaces the Green Card type employment permit. The Critical Skills Employment Permit is designed to attract highly skilled people into the labor market with the aim of encouraging them to take up permanent residence in the States. Now, eligible occupations under this type of permit are deemed to be critically important to growing Ireland's economy, are highly demanded and highly skilled, and in significant shortage of supply in our labor market. So here you see it's written here, occupations such as ICT professionals, professional engineers, and technologists are catered for under this type of employment permit. Eligible occupations are largely determined in line with the regular analysis of the expert group on future skills needs with regard to the labor market requirements in respect of strategically important skills. The list of eligible occupations is set out in the critical skills occupation list. So let's go ahead to look at the critical skills occupation list, okay? Now you see here, this list is set out in Schedule 3 of the regulations. Employment, you see here, employment in respect of which there is a shortage in respect of qualifications, experience, or skills which are required for the proper functioning of the economy. Okay? Now it says here that the critical skills occupation list is organized using the standard occupational classification system, that is SOC 2010, a system which classifies workers into occupational categories for the purpose of collecting, calculating, or disseminating data. Now let's just go ahead to check. You have a very long list here, right? So what I would advise, I'm going to link this in the description. What I would advise is that you go to this list and you check. You see health professionals here. You check which one is yours, which one is for you, basically. Okay? You check it here, and I wish you all the best while you check. All right, we have media professionals is even here. Okay, so you can check. I wasn't expecting that, right? And it is here. So you just check and see what exactly is for you. Now, like I said, the title of your job might not be the same way that it is titled in Ireland. Okay, how Ireland titles jobs might not be the same as the way that Nigeria titles jobs. So you need to search diligently. Okay, sometimes your job falls under a broader category. So you need to search diligently before you even start applying. You need to search diligently. Now, somebody might be asking this question, okay, what if your job is not on this list that I just showed you? Now, you can still apply for a job under the general employment permit. The only difference between you and somebody who is applying for the critical needs jobs is that your salary threshold is higher, like I mentioned before. Okay, so you need a higher salary, and your employer might need to do what is called a labor market needs test. Okay, labor market needs test is almost like what you call the LMIA in Canada, okay, labor market impact assessment. This is to prove that no citizen of that country or the EU can fill that job, okay? So now, if the job is not a critically needed job, it means that it's possible for them to get somebody in the EU to fill that job. So your employer needs to do this LMNT, that is the labor market needs test, to prove that no EU citizen can actually fill that job. Now, the disadvantage of route, this general employment route, is that it is longer actually, okay, because it's not a critical skills job, right? So it might take longer, but it is still a valid route, okay? If you want me to do a video about the general employment permit, how to go about it, please drop general employment in the comment section, okay? I will definitely respond. If I have enough people wanting me to do something about that video, I'm definitely going to do it and show you how to apply for the general employment permit, right? So let's go over to the last section, okay? And on this section, I actually wrote a few tips for you to have in mind when you're applying for these jobs, okay? Because it is not just enough to know that, okay, these are the critical jobs, let me rush and apply. No, you need to actually pay attention to some tips when applying for these jobs, when searching for these jobs, and when applying for these jobs. Now, before you apply for some of these jobs, especially if you are in the tech field or you are in the healthcare field, you need to get your certifications in these fields. Yes, you went to school and this is what you learned, but you also need to get certifications for these skills. The next tip I wrote here is that you need to polish your CV to match the Irish standards. Don't just say, let them take me as I am. They know I'm a Nigerian. No, 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 no. You need to polish your CV. The thing is, a lot of people are actually doing this already. A lot of foreigners, okay, Nigerians included, are actually doing this. So you also need to do this. Polish your CV to match the Irish standards, okay, so you can have an edge. Now, the next one is to start applying early. And there's a video I created, okay, I think I will link it in the description, where I shared my screen to search for jobs, okay. Some of the sites that I went on, I was searching for jobs which were posted in the past 24 hours. Okay, you can actually apply that filter. If you haven't watched that video, please click on it and watch it. Okay, it's very important. So why I'm saying you should start applying early is because the more applications you send, the better your chances. Okay, now the earlier you send your application, the better your chances, right? Why I'm saying you should start applying early is because the earlier you send the CV, the better your chances. Okay, they might not tell you that, oh, we have already closed applications. They might say, okay, deadline is in 5 days or 21 days, but at some point they have a particular threshold of the number of CVs they want to receive for a particular job. So the best thing for you to do whenever you go to these job boards, filter it to jobs which were posted in the last 24 hours. And another tip that I'm going to mention is that you should apply for as many jobs as possible. Okay, send in as many applications as possible. On one of my videos, I was talking about a friend of mine who sent over 30 applications for different jobs. Okay, so send as many as possible, because the more applications you send, the better your chances of actually getting a job. Now, the final tip is for you to use LinkedIn. One thing I've noticed is that recruiters in Ireland are very active on LinkedIn. Now, don't just go to LinkedIn and check them out and wait for them to call you. You can actually be proactive and actually speak to some recruiters, speak to some employers, send them a message if possible on LinkedIn, okay? And I wish you the very, very best of luck. So now you know the critical skills jobs that Ireland is in need of. If you like the content of this video, please give me a juicy thumbs up. And if you're feeling generous, you can share this video with one or two people that you think would be interested in knowing how to move to Ireland. I have a whole playlist on this, okay? So if you haven't watched the other related videos, please go to the Ireland playlist and play them in order to be fully armed with all the information you need to apply for the Ireland jobs. Thank you so much for staying till the end of the video. Please hit the subscribe button if you've not subscribed. I would like to see you again. And you can turn on the notification if you would like to be notified of when I come on live. Take care of yourself. Till I see you in another video, stay safe and keep traveling.